we have a few pop-ups, and this is one of them. Thank you, Rosalind, and the rest of them. And who was here last year, at last year's conference? All right, I don't know if you remember, but last year on stage, I did a quick pop-up at the end of interviewing one of our board members, Karan Bhatia from Google, and USAID's head of their digital team, about AI and technology and how it connects to development. And I don't know about you, but I thought it was like eye-opening for me. I actually used a chat GPT to ask a question, which a year ago was novel. Now we all use it to write our speeches. But we also looked at how USAID was helping Ukraine create a digital platform to create more transparency and accountability in their government services. Well, fast forward, I promised you a year ago, for those that were there, that we would supercharge it for this year. And over the course of preparing, I could not believe how much all of you and our community are doing in the space of AI, technology, and development and diplomacy. And honestly, we could have filled this whole program just on that. But instead, because we have so many other things, you're about to meet shortly the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, but instead what we're going to do is these pop-ups. And my very clever colleagues created something called 5x5, and it's 5 experts you're going to meet in 5 minutes each to tell the future in 5 years, their outlook of how AI and tech is being used in development. So get ready. Or as Back to the Future, one of my favorite movies, said, where we go, we don't need roads. So, ladies and gentlemen, meet our first 5x5, Bill Eggers, Deloitte's Executive Director for Global Government Insights. Bill, come along for the ride. All right, now here's what I'm going to tell you about Deloitte. Deloitte has been, if you don't know this, has been one of the leaders in this space, particularly about USGLC's issue. And Deloitte has been one of our partners in really helping create this whole 5x5. Deloitte has worked with State Department, USAID, US Trade and Development, who you just heard from, and on digital technologies, particular digital infrastructure, to address global development issues like hunger, climate change, sustainability. And so, Bill, this is a really smart audience. But if you're anything like me, we might need a little help on a couple things, like digital public goods, digital infrastructure, but particularly what it means to development and diplomacy. So like places, I know you've been working in Ukraine, India, and so I'm going to give you the stage. The other ones I'm going to interview, but you get a Bill talk, kind of like a TED talk. You got 5 minutes. Bill,
awesome.
The stage is yours. Good luck.
Okay, so it's time to talk technology. So take off your ties, pull on your hoodies, grab some Mountain Dews. Are you ready? So I want you to visualize the most successful technology in human history. Now think about it for a minute. What comes to mind for you? Now, many of you might have thought of the light bulb, the wheel, or the internet. But I'd argue that the most successful technology in history is right here in this photo. What is it? Not the car, not even electricity. It's the alphabet. When you look at this picture, you don't say, hey, that's an innovative use of the alphabet. You just instinctively read the signs. Now, this might come as a surprise. But as Mark Weisler eloquently puts it, the most profound technologies are those that disappear. They weave themselves into the fabric of everyday life until they are indistinguishable from it. The alphabet is a prime example of this, becoming a fundamental part of our communication and knowledge sharing. Now, today, AI is all the hype, often called the new electricity. A general-purpose, extraordinarily powerful technology. With the launch of ChatGPT, AI's impressive capabilities are now available to hundreds of millions and billions of consumers for the first time. It sparked a wave of rethinking about what was possible with AI, and now AI is on everyone's mind. It's what we all can talk about. Now, we've identified over 100 instances globally of governments achieving 10x improvements, often driven in part by AI. With AI tools and advanced business practices, governments globally have dramatically cut down wait times, simplified processes, facilitated innovation, improved citizen experiences, and saved government workers from endless hours of more boring menial tasks. And these are just a few of the examples that we've identified. But to realize these kinds of improvements, AI depends on ubiquitous background technologies like cloud, data exchanges, and data centers. Think of these as the modern equivalent of the alphabet. Now, just as roads are crucial public infrastructure that enable physical connectivity and commerce, digital identity systems, data exchanges, and payment systems, these serve as the digital public infrastructure, enhancing customer experience, fostering innovation, and delivering inclusive services. These data exchanges that can connect different systems with a shared language. They allow for smooth, safe, and consent-based data sharing among governments, industry, and nonprofits. Now, one way to see how the components of DPI work together to enable a new way of delivering services is to look at India's direct benefit transfer program. Aadhaar provides the identity layer, and this connects to a data layer to check if an individual qualifies for a welfare program. The payment layer then links to an Aadhaar identity to an individual's bank account to make a direct deposit. The systems can communicate with each other because of the inoperable nature of DPIs, enabling these kind of remarkable results. So let's take a closer look. Over 730 million beneficiaries were able to get cash directly from this into their bank accounts last year. Since 2013, the government has transferred $400 billion through Aadhaar. And the government's not the only one that benefits. Aadhaar's Know Your Customer e-verification was able to drop the bank's cost of acquiring these new customers from $23 to 1 cent, a 230-degree improvement. Now, look at this slide. Think about those outcomes. Think about how amazing that is. I've been working on digital government for over 25 years, and I think this is the most important, impactful digital government project so far in human history. The success needed many things like Aadhaar, digital payments, public-private partnerships, good laws and policies, and digital identification. Banks and tech companies helped the government by launching new services on top of Aadhaar's digital infrastructure to increase financial inclusion. And as we just heard about, another great example is in Ukraine. Ukraine's DIA app makes government services easier and faster using all the key elements of DPI. The app has over 19 million users, where users can access more than 100 government services in new ways. Now, USAID helped fund and create it, and they, along with the State Department and US Trade Agency, are planning to help other countries like Kosovo, Zambia, Ecuador with similar apps. And also, as we just heard about, the White House's Digital Transformation in Africa initiative has now received pledges of over $800 million to speed up digital transformation in Africa, including DPI. Impressively, all of this has happened just in the last few years. But ultimately, these investments may not be enough or quick enough, as I'll talk about later. So the next step is to pair DPI and AI together. For instance, some countries are using AI to assist job seekers in finding tailored opportunities based not on their qualifications or their resumes, but their actual skills and preferences. Now think about how impactful such applications could be with a whole country's data being leveraged to help people. AI and language technologies can also help enhance DPI by using AI to overcome language challenges. India's Jugalbandi chatbot enables communication across a whole range of languages. It's based on a Gen AI system and uses speech recognition models from AI for Bharat. The chatbot can now handle 10 of 22 different languages in the country and offers and offers information on over 170 different government services. When linked to online government services, applicants can fill out an application with voice commands. So DPI and digital public goods are clearly a key investment area, like power generation or communications, but we shouldn't limit our thinking to that framing. Like the ubiquitous impact that the automobile had, AI and DPI will have very broad societal impacts. These DPI exchanges can help to spur adoption of AI and other exponential technology in countries, and the earlier a country adopts these technologies, the better it bodes for their future standard of living. So AI will create a tsunami of new applications. My worry is this, that DPI is not given enough importance, and API is making this more urgent. And I see three potential futures. Number one, poor nations face a bigger gap, causing economic, social, and political issues. Number two, the US and allied nations, along with corporations and NGOs, help develop the needed DPI and the gap shrinks. Or number three, strategic rivals close this gap. Now, China will be tempted by the LLM data and the chance to manipulate decision-making algorithms. So what's the most probable path? A disputed one, a combination of the three, just as we've seen with telecom. How much sway we have in the United States and our allied nations in this mix will depend a lot on all of you here in the room today. Thank you so much for your attention.